All right, and the anticipated wait is over. The last time I did a rig tour was about 6 months ago, and today we're gonna go over everything start to finish, top to bottom, how I designed this crazy augmented experience. Without further ado, let's check this thing out. Okay, so most important component of this is the frame. When you guys are choosing the frame, make sure you guys get something that's going to be rigid. It's going to be able to withhold your direct drive wheelbase, your pedals, and any other type of components that you're going to put onto. So I was really attracted to advancedsimracing.com. Not only do they make some incredible gear and equipment, but their ASR frames are great for the price, amazing bang for your buck, and I decided to go with the ASR 3. Incredible, zero flex, no weak points whatsoever, and it's so robust. It's all aluminum profile, and I believe that it's 3-inch aluminum profile, so it's 100% worth the investment. If you guys can shell out around $580, about $600 shipped, it's actually not terrible at all, and I think that they even have some specials going around for 10%. All right, and the next portion, which is equally as important to the framing, is going to be the driving experience with the direct drive wheelbase. Now, I decided to go with the Alpha Mini. It is absolutely incredible. I've tested out other wheelbases prior to this. I've tried Fanatec, I've tried a few others, and it just doesn't come close to the fidelity and how much detail is really felt. I feel like personally, over the past year I've had zero issues, and it just feels like it has a ton of power for such a smaller device. So it's around 10 Newton meters. So it's been reported that it gets up to 10 to 14 actually. It's about 15 centimeters in length. There's 3 CPU tri-core acceleration smart base. It's all aluminum. There's a 3-phase servo motor designed by SimMagic, and the refresh rate is 1 hertz for the buttons and 40 hertz for the force feedback. Now again, this is actually tied to PC only, but maybe on down the road this will be available for consoles as well. Okay, and now on to the pedals. So I decided to get the most bang for my buck, and if you guys haven't noticed already, I try not to spend a whole lot of money if it's not 100% necessary. I really try to dig deep and try to get the best bang for my buck. So I've had these pedals for well over a year now, the SimJack Pros. The Pros are incredible. Now they do make a smaller light version of this for about $50 cheaper, but if you can get an extra $50 more, you can get the Pro versions. And over the past year, I've done a ton of mod upgrades, including the SimMagic haptic feedback motors. Absolutely worth it. If you guys can get these mounted onto your pedals, whether they're VRSs or they're Fanatec, make sure that you guys eventually get these haptics. It is an absolute game changer when it comes to fidelity. In fact, I did a whole YouTube video on how to set these up and my actual thoughts on that entire system. Next portion that we're going to get into is the button plates and wheels. So I found this company actually by accident. It was really just trying to find something that's affordable, that looks great, and it doesn't really cost me an arm and a leg. As you guys know, button plates and wheels are expensive. I mean, starting price for most wheels are $600 and up. I mean, most cases, that's with a button hub and everything like that. Now, if you go to Augmented Sim Racing, it's a small Italian company based in Italy. They have some of the most incredibly well-crafted designs. And if you guys check out their website, I'll link this description below. But their button plate, shipping is, give or take a few dollars. You're shipping it to the US. But their button plates start at $189 US dollars. That's the button plate only. And if you want to get the additional wheel, it's like $115 extra. So you can get an entire ecosystem for under $300, which is just unheard of. I cannot recommend this company enough. And I know I sound excited because I really want to see this company flourish. I want to see them grow, because not only did they make things right with me in the past over something that was a discrepancy with one of the buttons. One of my LED buttons actually did go out, and they said, you know what, we're going to send you a whole brand new one. So the next wheel we have here was actually built by yours truly at AliExpress. Yeah, you heard that correct, AliExpress. So if you go to, and I'll link this in the description below, that link that I have for the SimMagic wheel that you see, a lot of people are asking, man, that's a really nice button plate. Is that the GT Pro? Absolutely not. I'm not going to be paying $400 for a button plate. I got this one for about half the cost, around $180 to maybe, I think it was about $180 for the button plate. And it has all programmable LEDs. And if you guys haven't noticed, I love my LED lights and my button switches. Everything is fully functional. And now it doesn't come with a quick release, so I had to buy that separate. But the actual rim itself did come from SimMagic, so that is 100% authentic. So I just attached that to the AliExpress, and it feels great. It's very functional, and it's obviously, I mean, this is very high quality as well for what it is. So moving on. Let's talk about these race nets. So as you guys know, when you're adding small little components like this for immersion, it helps. It really, really helps engage you further and further to a deeper level of understanding almost where you're seated in the vehicle. And for me personally, I don't know if this goes for a lot of guys, but when I can actually replicate certain car parts and bring them to life almost where I'm seated, it helps me race a little bit better. Am I faster? Probably not, but if I can get more engaged with me feeling like I'm inside of a vehicle, I feel like I can sharpen my skills just a little bit more. So these race nets were actually pretty cool. I stumbled upon them about 8 months ago. I decided to add a few of the vinyl stickers, but unfortunately I was checking their website. These race nets are officially discontinued by the manufacturer. They no longer make them. If you want to see some other guys out there that make incredible race nets, I would highly encourage you to check out Race Beyond Matter. And in most cases, they're easily replicated by just cutting up some belts, stitching them together, and you can do these yourself for a fraction of the cost. Because if you're looking at real race nets, they can be $400 or $500, and that's per side. It blew my mind how expensive these actually are. So if you guys have some crafty skills, I would highly recommend just doing them yourself. All right, and let's talk about this center console. So there's a little bit to unpack here, but let's go ahead and get into the very foundation on how this whole thing is really housed. So bottom piece is the Track Racer XL, and that's how I'm able to hold such much surface area with the SimJack sequential and the SimJack H pattern. And by the way, if you guys are looking for some high quality shifters on the market, the H pattern, I put these things through hell. Like, and that's no exaggeration. I've had these for I think 10 months now. Zero problems. And I'm running pretty hard on both of these shifters with absolutely zero issues, no squeaking, no cracking. I mean, they are very sturdy. As far as the button box, I actually found this on Etsy. I stumbled upon it for like 85 bucks. I think it was a Black Friday special. He has a ton of different colors, functionalities that you can also get. I think he has a carbon fiber finish, but I got the metal finish. As far as the iPad, that is just an iPad. And I mounted that strictly through onto the back of the system there. I mounted it with an iPad holder. Literally an iPad holder that I attached to the rig frame and then positioned it accordingly. So super easy to set up and basically mount that. And I got some questions about the software. Now I'm going to do a separate video on this, but I'm going to briefly go over it. So the software is Dash Panel through the App Store and through Steam. It all connects via Wi-Fi, and once you get the two connected, they talk and you're able to play virtually any stim. And it displays all of the relevant race data that you need, RPMs, tire gauges, different dashes info, stuff like that. So super convenient if you guys don't want to utilize SimHub. So let's talk about the incredible side floor. Now the whole thing is about 14 inches, maybe, nope, it's actually 17 inches wide. I used 1.5 inch PVC for the side and covered it with some stickers to make it look a little bit more authentic. And for the actual floor itself, so I used PVC paneling for the floor and PVC paneling for the walls. And I wrapped that in metal sheet vinyl. Super easy, super fun to set up actually. And then I cut it to spec, and it's actually sitting on top of a table about the same height as my shifters. And when you look over as such, it looks like it's actually a lot bigger and further out than it is, but it's only about 17 inches wide. All right, and tons of questions on this too. The roll cage. Yes, this is PVC. Yes, it's super lightweight. Yes, it does look kind of funny, but it's very, very functional. And as you guys can see, I kind of just went off the top of my head. I was actually watching Race Beyond Matter's video. I'm like, I want to make that. So I had no anything cut up, drawn up. I just went off of visual representation. I went to Home Depot. I cut these how I thought would look good. And turns out they actually turned out pretty great. But as far as the roll cage, it's literally just sitting on top of the monitors here. And I did cut them accordingly, cut them to length, and it's just all being held up underneath that roof system, which we're going to get to next. Now, as far as the roof, you guys can probably go a little bit better than what I did. I went with black display board that I got from Office Depot. Now, one suggestion that I would make, instead of making out of black display board, I'm going to have to replace these soon because they are beginning to sag just a little bit, just because of the sheer weight of the Philips Hue play bars that are all up inside of the ceiling as well. So what I would recommend in place of the black display board would be black or whatever color PVC paneling. So you guys know what that is for advertisements and actual advertisement signs. It's actually made out of PVC, and I would recommend getting those. Buy like 6 panels, cut them up, and a pro tip is to make sure that this entire roof system isn't just sitting on top of the roll cage. You want this up and above at least 7 inches, floating above. And how I did that was I built almost a 3-dimensional wall behind the monitors, and then I built it on top of that wall so that it's almost floating. But you're not able to see it floating inside the car. But make sure you're not putting them on top of your PVC roll cage. Make sure it's above a few inches, at least floating a bit. And it's a really important factor because once you get to the Philips Hue bars, if you guys want to build them into the roof system, I would highly recommend that you do so. You'll be able to put them inside of the headliner and aim them towards the wheel. So that is a huge pro tip that I learned. I just feel like brought a ton of immersion and really enclosed that environment for me. All right, and that's going to conclude today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that giant rig tour. I tried to action pack as much possible information as I possibly could into there, and if there's anything that may seem vague, just ask me away. Because I know there might be a couple of things that may have been skimmed over just a little bit, but if there is, just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any type of questions you guys have. So, yeah, it was quite the experience. You know, building this over the course of time, it took me a couple of years, you know, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. But it's been a stair-step process, and I just didn't go out and buy this thing. A lot of it boiled down to, obviously, how we started in the beginning was a solid frame, solid hardware, you know, buy once, cry once on that portion, and then the rest is up to creativity. And I think a lot of the inspiration that stemmed from all of this experience was this channel called Race Beyond Matter. He has some of the most immersive videos I've ever seen, and when I first saw it, I'm like, man, this guy's a good racer, and then it comes to find out it was a game. I'm like, how did he do that? So I dug deeper on his channel, and it showed me how he built this entire setup, and I'm getting like goosebumps talking about this because I watched this and I'm like, bro, how is that even possible? There's something about creating an augmented experience that makes it look like real life, but it's really hard to tell the difference. But to create surreal experiences like this and to escape certain, things that are going on even in like real life, to come home to this it's an escape. It's escape from reality in a sense. And I think a lot of us can relate to that, because sim racing, not only is it super fun, it's exhilarating, it's an amazing tool for pro race car drivers to use, but it's also an escape for some people. It's good for mental health, etc. But with that, have a good rest of your week. And again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please message me, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys soon.